A lot of people remember their 18th birthday for the cake and the party. I remember mine for the price tag. I wasn't blowing out candles. I was being signed over like a piece of property in the smoke-filled basement. My father, a man who loved gambling more than his own blood, had finally run out of luck, and I was the only currency he had left. The man who bought me was Dante Moretti, the king of the concrete. He was cold, beautiful, and dangerous. He thought he had bought a toy. He thought he had bought a girl who would cry in a golden cage until she broke. But as I sit here now, 3 years later, wearing his signature ring on my finger while he sits in a prison cell he will never leave, I have a message for every girl who has ever been told she's just a prize to be won. If somebody buys your life, don't just try to survive. Make them regret the day they thought they could afford you. My name is Elena, and this is how I turned a Mafia auction into a hostile takeover. The night of the sale was freezing. My father wouldn't even look at me in the eye as he handed the folder of my life over to Dante. I was fair-skinned, dressed in a simple white dress to look innocent and terrified. Dante looked at me like I was the car he was checking for dents. "She will do," he said. His voice was like velvet over gravel. I was taken to a fortress on the edge of the city, a mansion with enough security to guard a nuclear bomb. Dante didn't want a wife, he wanted a symbol of his power. He gave me everything: diamonds, silk, a credit card with no limit, but I wasn't allowed to leave the gates without 4 armed guards. Everyone in the house treated me like a ghost, except for Rico, Dante's younger brother. One night, while Dante was out cleaning up a mess, Rico got drunk. He started bragging about how the Moretti Empire was built on a lie. He told me about the Black Ledger, the book that held the names of every judge, cop, and politician Dante had in his pocket. That was the moment I stopped crying. I realized that Dante wasn't a god. He was just a man with a very big secret. And secrets are a thing I'm very good at keeping and using. I started playing the perfect puppet. I stopped fighting Dante. I started smiling. I started asking if I could bring him coffee in the office while he worked. I made myself invisible, so invisible that he forgot I was even in the room when he discussed shipments and hits. I spent 6 months being the pretty girl on his arm at galas, but my eyes were always moving. I learned who hated him. I learned which of his captains felt disrespected. I realized that the mafia isn't about loyalty. It's about fear. And fear is a very brittle foundation. I began my own Black Ledger. Using a hidden app on my phone, I recorded the meetings. I took photos of the shipping manifest, but I didn't give them to the police. The police were his friends. No, I gave them to his rival, a woman named Sophia who had been trying to break into the territory for years. But I didn't give her everything for free. No, I made a deal. I would give her the keys to Dante's empire, but only if I got to keep the throne. She laughed at first. She thought I was joking. Then I showed her the footage I had of her own husband betraying her. She didn't laugh after that. We became a secret alliance, the sold girl and the scorned wife. The night of the takeover was Dante's 30th birthday. He was at the height of his power. The whole city was there to kiss his ring. He pulled me close and whispered, "See this, Elena? All of this is mine. And you are the crown jewel." I leaned in and whispered back, "Actually, Dante, you are just a distraction." At the exact moment the lights went out, panic erupted. When the backup generators kicked in, Dante's primary security team wasn't standing behind him. They were standing behind me. I hadn't just been stealing data, I had been using Dante's own money. Millions I pretended to spend on shopping trips, to pay off his guards' debts, to pay for their kids' surgeries, to buy their loyalty. I gave them what Dante never could: respect and a future. Dante reached for his gun, but Rico, his own brother, held a knife to his throat. "Sorry, big brother," Rico said, looking at me with admiration. "She pays better, and she's smarter." I stepped forward, no longer the girl in the white dress. I was wearing a suit of pure black. I took the Moretti ring off his finger while he was pinned to the floor. "You didn't buy a girl, Dante," I said, loud enough for the entire room to hear. "You bought the person who was going to end your legacy. You should have checked the price of betrayal before you signed the papers." Dante didn't die. That would have been too easy. I sent the black ledger to the one federal agent I knew he couldn't bribe, a man whose daughter Dante had accidentally hit years ago. Dante is now serving 3 life sentences. I kept the mansion, I kept the guards, I even kept the name. But things are different now. This whole empire is now a legitimate business empire. We don't deal in fear, we deal in information. People still call me the Mafia boss's wife when they think I'm not listening. I just smile because they don't realize that the boss is gone and the girl they all ignored is now the one holding the gavel. They say I was cold and they are right. But they forgot that once you own something, you have the power to destroy it. And I destroyed the old world to build a better one for me.